I'm not a jealous man. Never have been. My job in risk management trained me to think 10 steps ahead, to map probabilities, to see patterns where others see chaos. But none of that prepared me for what I found on a Tuesday morning in October, staring at my laptop screen with a cup of coffee growing cold in my hand. The Nest Cam had been Madison's idea. For security, she'd said, gesturing toward the driveway with that practiced smile she used for clients. You know how break-ins have been up in the neighborhood? I'd installed it without question. Madison McKenzie, my wife of 8 years, mother of our 6-year-old son Tyler, successful PR consultant, had never given me reason to doubt her. She was organized, ambitious, beautiful, in that effortless way that made other men's wives hate her at school functions. She managed our household like she managed her clients' crises, smoothly, efficiently, with just enough charm to make you forget you were being handled. The footage I'm watching now shows Madison emerging from our colonial at 8:47 a.m. She's dressed too perfectly for a school drop-off, the burgundy wrap dress I bought her for our anniversary, heels that click against the driveway, hair swept back in a way that took longer than 5 minutes. Tyler bounces beside her in his soccer uniform, backpack slung over one shoulder. She loads him into her white BMW, checks her reflection in the side mirror, and drives away. Standard Tuesday morning routine, except Tyler had a half day that Tuesday, and his soccer practice was canceled due to field maintenance. I know this because I'm the one who handles his schedule, syncs it with my phone, receives the automated updates from the league coordinator. I rewind the footage. Watch again. Same burgundy dress, same practiced movements, same lie wrapped in routine. My coffee tastes like ash. I set the mug down, close my laptop, and walk to my home office. The house feels different now, not empty, but hollow, like a stage set after the actors have gone home. I've spent 15 years analyzing fraud for insurance companies, staged accidents, inflated claims, elaborate schemes designed to look like terrible luck. The best fraudsters understand that deception lives in the details. A story that's too clean, too convenient, always falls apart under scrutiny. Madison's story is too clean. I pull up her location history on our shared Google account. Tuesday morning, Tyler's school at 9:15 a.m., then a gap until 11:30 a.m. when she appears at Whole Foods, then another gap until 2:45 p.m. when she's back at school for pickup. The gaps are what matter. In my business, we call them coverage holes, spaces where the truth hides. I spend the next hour mapping her patterns, 3 weeks of Tuesdays, same burgundy dress, same mysterious gaps, same perfect timing that aligns with Tyler's shortened schedule and my early meetings downtown. The camera doesn't lie. People do. By evening, I've watched the footage 6 times. Madison moves through our kitchen like nothing happened, reheating leftover lasagna while Tyler explains why dinosaurs couldn't possibly have been cold-blooded. She laughs at his theories, refills his milk, asks about his day with the kind of practiced interest that looks genuine unless you know what to watch for. "How was work?" she asks me, settling into her chair with a glass of wine. "The usual, claims review, risk assessment." I cut my lasagna into precise squares. "How was your morning?" "Quiet. Dropped Tyler at school, grabbed groceries, picked up your dry cleaning." She sips her wine. "Oh, and I had lunch with Sarah. She's thinking about divorce again." Sarah, Madison's college roommate who lives in Portland, who hasn't been in town since Christmas. "That's too bad," I say. "Some people just refuse to work on their marriages," Madison continues, twirling pasta around her fork. "They give up the moment things get difficult instead of remembering why they fell in love in the first place." Tyler kicks his legs under the table, oblivious to the performance happening around him. He's explaining something about an art project, gesturing with his fork, tomato sauce on his chin. Normal, innocent, real. Everything else is theater. After Tyler's asleep, I return to the footage. Madison's BMW leaves our driveway at 8:47 a.m. and doesn't return until 2:30 p.m. 6 hours unaccounted for. 6 hours that don't match the story she's been telling me for weeks. The light from my laptop screen reflects off the window, turning the glass into a mirror. The man staring back looks calm, composed, analytical. But something has shifted behind his eyes. Something cold and patient and very, very focused. Tomorrow, I'll start mapping the full scope of Madison's deception. Tonight, I'll go to bed beside her, kiss her goodnight, and pretend I still believe her stories. Because the camera doesn't lie. But it also doesn't tell you everything. And I need to know everything. I clone Madison's phone on a Wednesday morning while she's in the shower. The software costs me $800 and arrives disguised as a charging cable. Madison's always been careless with her devices, leaving her phone unlocked on counters, never bothering with two-factor authentication. Her password is Tyler's birthday, followed by our anniversary year. Sentimental and predictable. The data streams into my laptop like evidence pouring into a case file. Text messages, call logs, location history, Google searches, photos uploaded to her cloud storage. 15 months of digital breadcrumbs that tell a story Madison never intended to share. Connor Ashworth. The name appears 347 times in her text history. I know Connor peripherally. He's a local news anchor. The kind of artificially handsome man who delivers weather disasters with a practiced expression of concern. Madison's PR firm handles several media personalities. Professional contact would be normal, expected even. But professional contacts don't send texts at 11:43 p.m. that read, "Can't stop thinking about yesterday. When can I see you again?" And they definitely don't receive responses like, "Tomorrow, same time, wear the blue shirt I like." I create a timeline using Excel, cross-referencing her location data with her text history. The pattern emerges like a photograph developing in a darkroom. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, Madison's phone pings from the same address. 1247 Riverside Drive, Unit 12B, Connor's condo. The duration of her visits has increased over time. Started at 90 minutes back in August, now averaging 3.5 hours. I find the deleted photos in her recently deleted folder. She's not as careful as she thinks. A selfie taken in Connor's bathroom mirror. I recognize his pretentious black marble vanity from a house tour he did for the lifestyle section. Madison's wearing my favorite sweater, the gray cashmere I bought her for Christmas. Her smile is different in this photo. Looser, more genuine than the practiced expressions she gives me. Another photo, Connor's hand on her thigh in what appears to be his living room. The timestamp reads 10:23 a.m. on a Tuesday. Exactly when she was supposed to be at Pilates. I catalog each piece of evidence methodically, screenshots saved to an encrypted folder, location data exported to spreadsheets, text conversations printed and organized chronologically. This isn't emotion, it's investigation. The same process I use to build fraud cases, except the perpetrator sleeps beside me every night. Her Google search history reveals the depth of her planning. How to delete location history permanently. Signs your spouse is tracking your phone. Best hotels for discreet meetings. And more recently, how to know if you're falling in love with someone else. That last search was made 3 days ago at 2:17 a.m. while I slept beside her. The hotel receipts are stored in her email, filed under a folder labeled Personal. The Riverside Inn, the same boutique hotel where we celebrated our 5th anniversary. She's been meeting Connor there twice a month since September, always booking the same suite, always paying with the credit card I don't monitor because I trusted her to manage her own expenses. I find the calendar entries hidden in a secondary Google account. Voice coaching sessions, scheduled for every Tuesday and Thursday morning. Professional development, she'd called it when I asked about her new routine. Helping Connor work on his delivery for the morning show. She was helping him with something, but it wasn't his delivery. The scope of her deception is staggering. Fake lunches with friends who live in other states. Fabricated client meetings that don't exist. fictional errands that cover 3-hour gaps in her schedule. She's been living a double life with the precision of a professional operative, except she left digital fingerprints everywhere. I close my laptop as Madison emerges from her bathroom, wrapped in the white terry robe I bought her last Mother's Day. She's humming something under her breath, moving with the satisfied ease of someone who believes her secrets are safe. "Big day ahead?" I ask. She settles at her vanity, begins her morning skincare routine. "Nothing too crazy. Meeting with the Johnson account at 10, lunch with potential clients at noon. Might run late. They want to discuss a long-term contract." The Johnson account canceled their retainer 2 weeks ago. I know because Madison complained about it over dinner, frustrated about losing a reliable income stream. "That's great," I say. "New business is always good." She catches my eye in the mirror, smiles. "We could use the extra money. Tyler's growing so fast, and you know how expensive his travel soccer is getting. Travel soccer that I research and register him for. Fees that I pay from accounts she doesn't access." "Whatever you think is best," I tell her. She turns, crosses to where I'm sitting on the edge of our bed, leans down and kisses my forehead like she has 1,000 times before. Her lips are soft, familiar. She smells like the lavender body lotion she's used since college. "I love you," she says. The words land like stones in still water. No ripples, no impact. Just weight settling into dark places where they can't do any more damage. "Love you too," I reply. She gathers her things, checks her reflection one final time, and heads downstairs. I listen to her heels click across our hardwood floors, hear the garage door open and close, wait for the sound of her BMW pulling out of our driveway. Then I return to my laptop and continue mapping the architecture of her betrayal. Because now, I know everything. The when, the where, the how, and the who. Tomorrow, I'll find out why. And then I'll decide what to do about it. Connor's wife answers on the second ring. Her voice is steady, professional, the tone of someone accustomed to difficult conversations. Elena Ashworth speaking. "Mrs. Ashworth, my name is David Mackenzie. I believe we need to talk." A pause. Long enough for understanding to settle, short enough to confirm she's been expecting this call. "Yes," she says. "I believe we do." We meet over Zoom that evening. Elena Ashworth is 42, a tax attorney with silver-streaked hair and intelligent eyes that miss nothing. She sits in what appears to be a home office, law books visible on shelves behind her. Professional, composed. Nothing like the scorned wife archetype Madison probably imagines when she thinks about Connor's marriage. "How long have you known?" I ask. 6 weeks. Connor's not as clever as he thinks he is." Elena's expression doesn't change. "You?" 4 days, since I started looking." She nods, unsurprised. "Madison's phone records?" "Among other things. You?" "Credit card statements, hotel charges. Connor's been using our joint account for his romantic gestures, expensive dinners, weekend getaways when he claimed to be at broadcasting conferences." Elena picks up a coffee mug, takes a measured sip. "He charged a $1,000 bracelet to our Amex last week. I'm assuming it wasn't for me." I think of the delicate gold chain Madison wore to Tyler's parent-teacher conference, new jewelry she claimed was a gift from her sister. "Have you confronted him?" I ask. "No. Have you?" "No," I replied. Elena leans back in her chair. "Good. We're both attorneys, Mr. Mackenzie. We understand that evidence gathering comes before action." "Not attorneys. I'm risk management, she's tax law. But the principle applies. We're both trained to think strategically, to build cases methodically, to consider long-term consequences before making moves." "What are you thinking?" I ask. "Public exposure. Controlled demolition of their fantasy." Elena's voice remains level, clinical. "They want to play house while keeping their comfortable lives intact. I think it's time their two worlds collided." I find myself nodding. This isn't about screaming matches or dramatic confrontations. It's about justice served at room temperature. Connor's birthday party, Elena continues. Next Saturday, he's throwing himself a celebration at the country club. Industry people, friends, neighbors, very image-conscious crowd. Madison will be there. I check Madison's calendar. She'd mentioned Connor's party weeks ago, framed it as a networking opportunity. She's planning to attend. Perfect. Elena opens what appears to be a manila folder on her desk. I've prepared documentation, photos, bank statements, hotel receipts, text message screenshots, everything needed to establish a clear timeline of their affair. What exactly are you proposing? A birthday gift, publicly presented, very dramatic, very final. Elena's smile is cold as winter morning. Connor loves being the center of attention. I'm going to give him exactly what he wants. We spend 40 minutes coordinating details. Elena will handle the presentation. I'll provide additional evidence from Madison's digital trail. Neither of us will warn our spouses. Neither of us will give them the opportunity to craft explanations or mount damage control. One more thing, Elena says, as we prepare to end the call. My children are adults, living on their own, but Tyler is 6 years old and doesn't need to witness this, I finish. Exactly. Whatever happens between us and them, the boy stays protected. After Elena disconnects, I sit in my home office listening to the sounds of normal family life downstairs. Madison helping Tyler with homework, the television murmuring in the background, laughter over some shared joke. I walk to Tyler's room, find him building an elaborate Lego spaceship on his bedroom floor. He's focused, tongue poking out slightly as he searches for the right piece. This is real. This matters. Everything else is performance. Hey, buddy, how's it going? He looks up, grins. Dad, look at this. It's got laser cannons and everything. I sit cross-legged beside him, help him locate the piece he needs. His small hands work with the concentrated seriousness of childhood, building something meaningful from scattered parts. Dad, he says without looking up from his construction. Yeah? Are you and Mom okay? She seems sad sometimes, like when she thinks no one's looking. The question hits like a physical blow. 6 years old, and he's already reading the emotional landscape of our disintegrating household, already sensing the cracks in the foundation. I choose my words carefully. Sometimes grown-ups have problems they need to work through. But no matter what happens, you know Mom and I both love you more than anything, right? He nods, attaches a small wing component to his spaceship. I know. I just want everyone to be happy. Everyone to be happy. As if happiness were something that could be built like a Lego spaceship, piece by piece, following clear instructions. We'll figure it out, I tell him. He seems satisfied with this answer, returns to his building. I watch him work for a few more minutes, memorizing this moment. Tomorrow, our lives will begin changing in ways he won't understand until much later. But tonight, he's 6 years old, and his biggest worry is finding the right Lego piece. I kiss the top of his head and leave him to his construction. Downstairs, Madison is cleaning up dinner dishes, humming the same tune she's been humming all week. Something new. Something she must have heard recently. Maybe something Connor played for her in his condo while I was downtown reviewing claims and Tyler was at school. How was your evening? She asks without turning around. Good. Caught up on some work. You've been putting in long hours lately. Big case I'm working on. Complex fraud investigation. Takes time to build the evidence properly. She loads the dishwasher with practiced efficiency. Well, don't work too hard. Life's short, you know. Life's short. Words of wisdom from a woman who's been stealing hours from her own family to build a fantasy with someone else's husband. You're right, I say. I should probably wrap things up soon. And I will. Saturday can't come fast enough. The Riverside Country Club buzzes with the refined energy of people who believe their lives are worth celebrating. Connor's birthday party sprawls across the main dining room. Industry colleagues, neighbors, golf buddies, and their perfectly groomed wives mingling under crystal chandeliers while jazz music plays softly in the background. I arrive alone. Madison left early to help with setup, which translated to an hour-long pre-party meeting with Connor in the coat check room. I know this because Elena's been tracking both of them since noon, sending me periodic updates via encrypted text. Connor holds court near the bar, wearing the navy blazer Madison bought him last month, charged to our joint account as a client appreciation gift. He's telling some story that requires dramatic gestures, his audience laughing on cue. Local celebrity in his element, basking in attention that feels like love until you realize it's just performance. Madison appears at his elbow with practiced casualness, refilling his scotch, touching his arm briefly while delivering what appears to be a witty observation. She's wearing the black cocktail dress I complimented her on last week, the one she claimed was for client events. Her smile is radiant, genuine in a way I haven't seen directed at me in months. They're good at this. Natural performers who understand that the best lies are wrapped in truth. To everyone else, they look like a successful PR consultant and her media client sharing industry gossip. The perfect cover story. Elena enters at 8:30, carrying an elegant gift bag tied with silver ribbon. She's dressed like she's attending a board meeting, tailored black suit, minimal jewelry, hair pulled back in a severe bun. Everything about her appearance suggests serious business. She moves through the crowd with purpose, ignoring the casual greetings from people who know her peripherally. Her target is clear, the birthday boy holding court by the windows overlooking the golf course. I position myself near the back of the room, close enough to witness but far enough to avoid immediate association. This is Elena's show. I'm just documentation. Connor! Elena's voice cuts through the cocktail conversation. Happy birthday, darling. He turns, surprise flickering across his television-perfect features. Madison's smile falters slightly. This wasn't part of their choreography. Elena, I didn't expect... I'm glad you could make it. Connor's recovery is smooth, but not perfect. The hesitation hangs in the air like smoke. I wouldn't miss it. 45 is such a milestone birthday. Elena's smile could freeze summer. I brought you something special. She extends the gift bag with both hands, as if presenting something precious. The conversations around them begin to quiet as people sense the shift in atmospheric pressure. Nothing draws attention like the promise of drama. Connor accepts the bag, his media training kicking in. Big smile for the audience, warm words for the cameras that aren't rolling but might as well be. You shouldn't have. Elena's always so thoughtful. Open it, Elena interrupts. Her voice carries enough edge to cut glass. I think everyone would love to see what I picked out for you. Madison steps closer, protective instincts engaged. She's sensing danger but can't identify the source. Her hand hovers near Connor's elbow, ready to provide support or extract him from whatever's coming. Connor reaches into the bag and withdraws a leather portfolio. Expensive looking. Executive. The kind of thing a successful attorney might give her media personality husband for his milestone birthday. There's more, Elena prompts. Keep going. The crowd has gathered now, forming a loose circle around the unfolding scene. Connor's colleagues from the station, Madison's professional contacts, neighbors who've known both couples for years, all watching with the anticipatory silence of an audience waiting for the curtain to rise. Connor opens the portfolio. His face goes white, then gray, then something approaching green. Madison cranes her neck, trying to see what's causing his reaction. When she does, her own face drains of color. The portfolio contains photographs, clear, detailed, time-stamped photographs of Connor and Madison entering and leaving his condo. Hotel receipts, bank statements highlighting purchases Connor made for her, text message screenshots blown up to poster size. But the centerpiece, the image that makes Madison's knees actually buckle, is a photograph of Tyler sitting in Connor's lobby while she visited upstairs. My 6-year-old son, waiting in the chair by the elevators while his mother conducted her affair 3 floors above. The silence stretches like a held breath. Elena's voice cuts through it like a blade. "Happy birthday, Connor. I thought it was time everyone knew how you've been spending your free time." Madison tries to speak. We didn't. Didn't what? Elena's composure never cracks. Didn't think anyone would notice? Didn't think your actions would have consequences? Connor attempts damage control. "Elena, this is a misunderstanding. Madison's helping me with professional development." Elena laughs. Actually laughs. The sound is sharp enough to make people flinch. "Professional development? Is that what you call it?" She turns to address the crowd, speaking clearly enough for everyone to hear. "My husband has been having an affair with Mrs. Mackenzie for 6 months. They've been using hotel rooms, his condo, and apparently dragging her child into their deception." Someone in the crowd gasps. Phones appear, recording everything. The age of social media means this moment will be preserved forever, shared and reshared until everyone in their social and professional circles knows exactly what happened at Connor Ashworth's 45th birthday party. Madison finds her voice. "You don't understand. This isn't what it looks like." Elena turns on her with surgical precision. "It looks like a married woman conducting an affair while using her 6-year-old son as cover. It looks like 2 people who decided their entertainment was more important than their families." She gestures to the portfolio. "Unless you can explain why you've been meeting Connor at hotels twice a month while telling your husband you were having business lunches." The crowd shifts, uncomfortable but captivated. This is better than television drama because it's real, happening live, involving people they actually know. Connor tries one more time. "Everyone, please. This is a private matter between families." Elena steps closer to him, close enough that when she speaks, everyone hears every word. "Private? You made it public when you decided to flaunt your affair around town, when you charged romantic dinners to our joint account, when you brought her to industry events as your client while everyone whispered about how close you'd become." She slaps him, not hard enough to cause real damage, but sharp enough to echo through the room like a gunshot. The crowd collectively inhales. Madison starts crying. Not the elegant tears of a woman wrongly accused, but the raw, desperate sobs of someone whose carefully constructed world has just collapsed in public. I choose this moment to move. Walk through the crowd with calm purpose until I'm standing directly in front of my wife. Madison. She looks up at me through her tears, mascara running, clutching her purse like a lifeline. "David, please. I can explain." I hold out my hand. "Keys." "What?" "To my truck. The one you drove here because yours is in the shop." I keep my voice level, conversational. "I'll need them back." She fumbles in her purse, hands shaking, and places the keys in my palm. Her fingers brush mine for just a moment, the last time we'll touch as husband and wife. "How are you getting home?" she whispers. "I'm not your concern anymore." I turn and walk toward the exit, leaving Madison standing in the wreckage of her double life, while Elena calmly collects her evidence portfolio and Connor contemplates the smoking ruins of his reputation. Behind me, I hear Madison call my name once. Then silence. I don't look back. Outside, the evening air is crisp and clean. No more performance, no more pretending. Just the cold clarity of truth finally spoken aloud. My phone buzzes. A text from Elena. "Phase 1 complete. Talk tomorrow?" I respond, "Yes. Thank you." Then I drive home to my son, who's spending the evening with my sister, blissfully unaware that his world just changed forever. The camera doesn't lie. And now everyone knows it. Madison tries to fight. She retains Jennifer Walsh, the most aggressive divorce attorney in the county, and attempts to frame the narrative around temporary insanity, midlife crisis, anything that doesn't involve accepting responsibility for 6 months of calculated deception. Her first strategy is emotional manipulation. She shows up at the house 3 days after Connor's party, eyes red with what appears to be genuine tears, carrying Tyler's favorite cookies from the bakery downtown. "I know I messed up," she says, standing in our kitchen like she's visiting a crime scene. "But we can work through this. People do it all the time. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes." Tyler is at school. I've taken leave from work to handle the immediate aftermath of our imploding marriage. The house feels different without Madison's presence. Quieter, but also cleaner somehow. Less performance anxiety in the air. "You didn't mess up," I tell her. "You made choices, hundreds of them. Every text message, every hotel reservation, every lie you told Tyler about where you were going." She flinches, but presses on. "I never meant for it to go this far. It just happened. Connor and we connected professionally and things got complicated. You took Tyler to Connor's building." The words stop her mid-sentence. This is the unforgivable element, the detail that transforms adultery into child endangerment in the court of public opinion. "He needed to use the bathroom," she whispers. "We were driving by and he couldn't wait. It was innocent. Tyler sat in that lobby for 47 minutes while you were upstairs with Connor. I have the security footage." Because I do. Elena's attorney obtained it during discovery, along with Connor's building access logs that show Madison visited his condo 17 times over 6 months. Sometimes with Tyler, sometimes without. Always while Connor's wife was at work and I was managing claims downtown. "You're destroying our family over one mistake," Madison tries again. "I'm not destroying anything. I'm documenting what you already destroyed." Her second strategy is financial warfare. Madison attempts to freeze our joint accounts, claiming I'm hiding assets and preparing to flee with Tyler. She requests temporary spousal support based on her previous income levels, despite the fact that 3 of her major clients terminated their contracts in the week following Connor's party. Screenshots of Elena's evidence portfolio have made their way through professional networks with the efficiency of gossip and the permanence of digital communication. Madison's reputation as a discreet, trustworthy PR consultant evaporated the moment everyone realized she couldn't manage her own public relations crisis. The Hartwell Group canceled their retainer via email, citing changes in our service needs. Morrison Industries simply stopped returning her calls. The city's tourism board, her largest account, replaced her with a competitor who sent a form letter about selecting a vendor whose values align with our mission. "She's experiencing natural consequences," my attorney explains during a case preparation meeting. "Adultery isn't illegal, but hypocrisy is bad for business. She sold herself as someone who could manage public image while conducting a very public affair. Clients don't trust representatives who can't represent themselves." Madison's strategy shifts to custody warfare. She files for primary custody of Tyler, claiming I'm an unfit father who prioritized work over family, creating conditions that led to her seeking emotional support elsewhere. Jennifer Walsh is good at her job. She paints Madison as a devoted mother driven to poor choices by a cold, emotionally unavailable husband. She highlights my travel schedule, the long hours I spent building fraud cases, my clinical approach to our marriage dissolution. But she can't overcome the evidence. Tyler's school records show that I handled 90% of his educational communication. His medical records list me as the primary contact for appointments and emergencies. His extracurricular activities were researched, registered, and funded by me while Madison was busy with her Tuesday and Thursday voice coaching sessions. The prenup I insisted on before our wedding becomes the third rail that electrocutes Madison's financial claims. Her attorney fights it viciously, claiming it was signed under duress, that circumstances have changed, that it's unconscionable given the length of our marriage. But the prenup was crafted by Elena's law firm. A detail Madison never bothered to research when I suggested we protect both our interests before marriage. Elena's colleagues built it to withstand exactly this kind of challenge: comprehensive, fair, and completely ironclad. Madison gets the BMW, her personal belongings, and a modest settlement that covers 1 year of living expenses. I get the house, Tyler's primary custody, and protection from her future earning claims. She rents a 1-bedroom apartment in a complex near the mall. Tyler visits her every other weekend and 1 evening per week, supervised initially until a court-appointed psychologist determines he's not traumatized by the custody arrangement. The final hearing lasts 3 hours. Madison testifies about temporary insanity, about feeling unappreciated and emotionally abandoned, about making one terrible mistake that spiraled beyond her control. I testify about evidence, timeline, digital trails, the systematic nature of her deception, and the impact on our son. Judge Harrison, a 60-something woman who's presided over family court for 15 years, listens to everything with professional patience. Her ruling is swift and comprehensive. Mrs. Mackenzie, adultery may not be criminal, but perjury is. You've lied to your husband, your child, your friends, and this court about the nature and duration of your extramarital relationship. The evidence clearly establishes a 6-month affair involving extensive planning, financial deception, and inappropriate exposure of your minor child to adult situations. Madison's shoulders shake as the judgment is read. Primary custody to me. Visitation rights for her. Asset division according to the prenup. No spousal support beyond the settlement amount. Mr. Mackenzie, you'll retain the family home and primary responsibility for your son's upbringing. Mrs. Mackenzie, you'll have supervised visitation until Dr. Chen completes her evaluation of Tyler's adjustment to these changes. Outside the courthouse, Madison tries one last appeal. I know you hate me, she says, but please don't poison Tyler against me. I'm still his mother. I look at her standing on the courthouse steps in her black suit, looking smaller somehow than she did 6 months ago. Thinner, less polished. The woman who managed crisis communications for a living couldn't manage her own crisis. I won't poison him against you, I tell her, but I won't lie to him either. When he's old enough to ask questions, he'll get honest answers. She nods, tears starting again. Can I see him this weekend? According to the custody schedule. She walks away toward her BMW, heels clicking against concrete with less confidence than they used to. I watch her go and feel nothing. Not satisfaction, not anger, not pity, just the quiet relief that comes with the end of a long, exhausting case. The camera doesn't lie. The evidence doesn't lie. The court documents don't lie. Sometimes truth is the only justice that matters. 6 months later, I wake up to silence. Not the careful quiet of someone trying not to disturb a performance, but actual silence. The house settles around me with the comfortable creaks of old wood and honest architecture. No hidden agendas, no digital deceptions, no carefully managed presentations of false happiness. Tyler's room shows signs of healthy 7-year-old chaos. Lego constructions in various stages of completion. Soccer cleats by the door, homework spread across his desk with the focused abandon of someone who hasn't learned to doubt his world yet. He's grown 3 inches since the divorce, gained confidence in ways that surprise me. Children are more resilient than we imagine, more perceptive than we admit. Dad, can we go to the park after breakfast? He asks, materializing in my doorway with bedhead and his favorite Warriors pajamas. Sure, buddy. Want to work on your free kicks? Yeah, and then can we get ice cream? We'll see. He grins and disappears back toward his room, already planning his day with the single-minded enthusiasm that makes childhood magical. This is real. This matters. Everything else was just noise. Madison arrives at 4:30 for her Tuesday evening visitation. She's thinner now, sharper somehow, like a photograph that's been over-sharpened until the edges hurt to look at. She drives a smaller car, a silver Honda that represents her reduced circumstances, and she's always precisely on time, as if being late might cost her what little access she has left. "Hey, Tyler," she calls from the front door. "Ready for dinner?" He bounds down the stairs with genuine excitement. Whatever else happened between Madison and me, she's still his mother. Their relationship exists in a space separate from our failures, and I've worked hard to keep it that way. "Bye, Dad." Tyler hugs me briefly and follows Madison to her car. They'll go to Chuck E. Cheese or the movies or some other place where conversation is optional and entertainment fills the uncomfortable spaces where family conversation used to live. She'll have him back by 8:30, exactly as the custody agreement specifies. No longer tries to negotiate for extra time or overnight visits. The supervised custody period ended 3 months ago when Dr. Chen determined Tyler was adjusting well to our new reality, but Madison seems afraid to push boundaries, afraid that any deviation from the agreement might cost her more access. I use the quiet hours to catch up on work. Risk management cases pile up like sediment, each one a story of trust betrayed, systems circumvented, truth hidden beneath layers of careful lies. I'm good at this work because I understand deception from both sides now. I know how it feels to discover you've been living inside someone else's elaborate fiction. Connor Ashworth disappeared from local television 3 weeks after his birthday party. The station announced his departure as a mutual decision to pursue new opportunities. But industry gossip suggested otherwise. Elena's evidence portfolio had made its way through professional networks with devastating efficiency. A news anchor whose personal life becomes the story isn't an asset. He's a liability. Last I heard, he was working for a radio station in Tucson. Smaller market, lower profile, fewer opportunities for his particular brand of chaos. Elena divorced him quietly, efficiently, taking half of everything and most of his professional credibility. She sends me Christmas cards now, formal but friendly notes that acknowledge our shared experience without dwelling on the details. Madison returns Tyler at 8:25, 5 minutes early. She walks him to the door instead of letting him run up alone, lingers for a moment like she wants to say something important, but can't find the words. "How was dinner?" I ask Tyler. "Good. We went to that new place with the arcade. Mom let me get dessert." He hugs Madison briefly. "Thanks for taking me." "Anytime, sweetie. I love you." "Love you too." He disappears upstairs to get ready for bed, leaving Madison and me alone on the front porch. The evening air carries the scent of neighbors grilling dinner, children playing in backyards, the ordinary sounds of families living their regular lives. "He's doing really well," Madison says quietly. "He is." I know you probably think I don't deserve to see him at all. I study her face in the porch light. She looks older, worn down by the consequences of choices she made when she thought consequences were theoretical. The confident woman who managed PR crises for a living couldn't manage her own crisis because she couldn't accept that she was the problem, not the solution. "Tyler deserves to have a relationship with his mother," I tell her. "What happened between us doesn't change that." She nods, looks down at her hands. "I never said I was sorry for what I did to him, bringing him to Connor's building, using him as cover for my lies. That was unforgivable." Yes, it was. The honesty hangs between us like a confession. No softening, no qualification, no attempt to make her feel better about choices that can't be undone. "I think about it every day," she continues. "How selfish I was. How I convinced myself I was protecting him by keeping things secret, when really I was just protecting myself." "What do you want me to say, Madison?" She looks up at me. "Nothing. I just wanted you to know that I know what I did. All of it. Not just the affair, but the lies, the manipulation, the way I made you feel crazy for noticing things that were actually happening. This is as close to genuine accountability as she's capable of reaching. Not the performance tears and strategic apologies she tried during the divorce proceedings, but actual recognition of damage done. "I'm not going to forgive you," I tell her. "If that's what you're looking for." "I'm not. I know better now." She adjusts her purse strap, prepares to leave. "I just wanted you to know that some of us do learn from our mistakes, even when it's too late to matter." She walks back to her Honda, drives away into the gathering darkness. I watch her taillights disappear around the corner, then go inside to help Tyler with his bedtime routine. He's already in his pajamas, brushing his teeth with the mechanical thoroughness of someone following a familiar script. His reflection in the bathroom mirror shows a kid who's learned to adapt, to find stability in new routines, to trust that some adults keep their promises, even when others don't. "Dad?" he says around his toothbrush. "Yeah? Are you happy now?" The question catches me off guard, not because it's complicated, but because it's simple. "I am. Are you?" He spits, rinses, considers the question with 7-year-old seriousness. "Yeah. I like it when things are quiet. When I don't have to worry about grown-up stuff." "You shouldn't have to worry about grown-up stuff." "I know. But sometimes I did anyway." Children see more than we want them to see, understand more than we think they understand. Tyler lived inside our disintegrating marriage for months, reading emotional weather patterns that adults tried to hide from him. "Well, you don't have to worry anymore," I tell him. "The grown-up stuff is handled." He nods, satisfied with this answer. "Can you read to me?" We settle into his bed with the current chapter book, some adventure story about kids who discover magical doorways in their basement. Tyler listens with the focused attention of someone who believes stories can transport you to places where problems have clear solutions and heroes always win in the end. Maybe that's what I was doing all along, trying to find the hero's path through a story that didn't have heroes, just people making choices and living with consequences. Madison chose excitement over stability, fantasy over reality, performance over truth. I chose evidence over trust, strategy over forgiveness, my son's future over my marriage's past. Neither of us was heroic. Both of us were human. But only one of us was willing to live in the real world when the fantasy ended. Tyler falls asleep during Chapter 7, breathing deeply with the untroubled sleep of childhood. I close the book, turn off his bedside lamp, and sit in the darkness, listening to the quiet house around us. No more hidden phones buzzing with secret messages. No more careful choreography around Madison's schedule. No more pretending not to notice the obvious. Just silence. Honest, peaceful, uncomplicated silence. I didn't do this for revenge, though revenge was certainly part of it. I did it because someone had to end the lie, and Madison couldn't see past her own reflection long enough to tell the truth. The camera doesn't lie. People do. But truth, once exposed, has a way of arranging itself into patterns that make sense. Madison lives with the consequences of her choices. Tyler lives with the security of honest answers to difficult questions. I live with the quiet satisfaction of work completed properly. Tomorrow, we'll go to the park and work on Tyler's free kicks. We'll get ice cream if he's good about homework. We'll live the ordinary life that Madison found too boring to sustain. And it will be enough. More than enough. It will be real. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.